Okay, so first things first, the hat. I thought I'd start with the most difficult piece because I had no idea how this was going to go. First thing I did was I created a dome above the head with 2 layers and then froze the bottom layer and increased the pressure. And then I froze all the pieces and then that created this dome for me. I'm creating rings within the dome. The idea here is that I wanted to create almost like a horizontal panel that I could stitch on, and it would almost be like a little curtain that went around the head, and then on this panel I would then put the image of the feather. Okay, so this is the 3rd layer. You have to play with the stretch just to make sure that it was laying flat. That's the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Okay, so I'm going to head over to Photoshop now, and I'm going to take a PNG of a black feather, place them next to each other, kind of randomize them, make them bigger, smaller. If I could go back and do this again, I'd probably get maybe 6 or 7 different feathers that didn't look so similar. Make the top black and then kind of put a shadow there. Okay, so save that, that's my PNG, and then I import that as a image onto this panel and just line them up, copy and paste onto absolutely everyone. What I realized is I had to offset them a little bit because if you do it all the same, it'll just look too regular. Okay, so that's the hat done. Right, over to the t-shirt. So I'm going to start off with the normal size block. And what I need to do is just adjust this, just make it bigger, bigger, bigger until we've got that drop shoulder, we've got the long sleeve and the fuller body. Okay, I'm just adjusting the avatar here so it's at the same pose as the model in the image. I made his arms black as well, just to make things easier. Okay, so here's the t-shirt. So I'm going to strengthen that, get it all into place. I made the whole thing bigger at this stage. You see how I dragged those arms down? At this point I select the fabric as well, that's kind of important for the drape. Okay, so I'm pretty close, but that shoulder still looks a bit off. It was like poking out. So I had to curve it. There we are. Now for the collar. This is a kind of little funnel collar. It's not like a normal t-shirt where it lays flat. Okay, just tweak, tweak, tweak. Just constantly looking back at that reference image, making sure that the fit is perfect. I realized that I needed to have an under layer, and that actually helped with the thickness. Okay, so now for the trouser. So first of all, I created the waistband. For the legs, I used the silhouette on the 2D panel, and I created just this super big wide trouser. I didn't even care that the top edge of that panel didn't fit the waistband. At this point, that's all hidden. So it's more about just seeing how that leg drapes, getting the thickness, the creases at the bottom of the foot. The material I used here was the raw denim, so that you could get those creases and that thickness. Okay, so bringing the waistband up a little bit. This is it. The leg needs to come out a little bit because on the original image it's kicked out. Okay, so I've used a new texture. It's a lighter denim. I'm starting to play with the top stitch and the creasing on the edge, so it actually looks like denim. I went a bit over the top on the top stitch. It's like twice as thick as what it normally would be, but for this render, I just wanted to exaggerate a little bit. I'm just checking it on the render window, seeing if it's too much, but I think it's just about right. Okay, perfect. Just tweaking those creases at the bottom so it looks more like the reference image. More creasing. And that's perfect. Okay, happy with that for now. No, I'm not. You always go back and sort these things out. I really like that. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to add the wash effect of the denim. So within this folder, what you need to do, you need to add it as a graphic and then lay it on top. So I just copied and pasted that on absolutely everything, and that really lightened the jeans up, gave it a nice wash. I played around with the settings here just to make sure that the reference image was similar. Okay, now for the shoes. Now I'm going to get rid of the trousers for 2 seconds, get rid of the original shoes. I'm going to create a really crude sock, basically. It's going to fit terribly around the heel, but that's fine because that's hidden by the jeans. All we want is a pointy toe black shoe, basically. So I create 2 layers and I create this really strange sock that pulls up like a little elf shoe. I need to sort out all of the stitching and all the distances, but you can kind of see what I'm doing here. And once I've got that shape, I can then add the points. Curls up like a little elf shoe because I had all the stitching wrong. Once I correct that, okay, so I'm going to change the weft percentage so that it kind of clings to the back of the heel a little bit more. Adjust the point at the front, make it black, put it on the other foot, and I think I'll get away with that. There we are. Perfect. Okay, so I've added all of the t-shirt and the jeans and the shoes. Now I've got a confession to make. I accidentally pressed stop on the record when I was creating the jacket, so you can't see none of that, but you'll see it in a minute. All of a sudden the jacket just appears. It took me about, I don't know, half an hour to do. It's not a full jacket. What I did was I literally took 2 sleeves, sewed it to the front of the waistband, and then took 2 front panels, folded them, and then just added them and then stitched them to the waistband again. Okay, so the denim jacket has just pinged back in. Like I said, had to sort out the render, had to sort out the lighting. This is me rendering the final piece. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over into Photoshop and play with it a little bit. The shadow from the hat didn't seem to come across in this render, so I'm going to fake that on this one. I'm going to add a back shadow. I'm going to increase the grain, the texture. So this is the shadow on the top of the shoulders from the hat. I'll blur that a little bit, change the opacity. There we are. Then I'm going to add a shadow behind, blur that a little bit, and I realised it was too high, so I dropped it a little bit. Okay, here's the final render. I'm really happy with this one actually. Okay, so if you want this design file, just head over to my Connect store and you can download it for free.